Where on YouTube? What channel? You're saying you
Darwin's greatest hits.
Why do you think that's?
I would. It's too bad someone can't monetize that. I run a lot, and it's kind of boring where I run. You know, I run around in the woods, and it kind of takes my mind off the pain of running, and it just keeps me so entertained that it's too bad that somebody can't monetize that. And I would think that Dee would be all over that.
Ranyart, what is your favorite video on there?
I'd have to say it's a coin toss between where Darth calls this guy Floyd, Filibuster Floyd. It's about 12 and a half minutes or so where Darth just has a total meltdown. And I mean, the first time I heard it, I was literally in tears. I was laughing so hard. Between that one and the one where Jack is just asking, I guess it's one of the 15 questions that Darth refuses to answer. And there's a white belt or somebody in there who's new, and Darth is trying to take him apart, and and Jack is asking him, well, tell him to do this, and ask him about the difference between micro and macro evolution, and, you know, different questions that he won't answer. It's about, and that one's about an hour.
Yeah, I know what video. Those are good ones. But have you seen the video called Questions, a compilation?
No, I haven't seen. Is that on Darwin's Greatest Hits?
Yeah, that's my favorite on Darwin's Greatest Hits, and I've seen.
I got to write that down. What was that again?
Questions, a compilation. It's one of the earlier videos.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's the
how long is it?
It's about 12 minutes, but it's a bunch of different clips of Darth just not answering people's questions.
Uh-huh.
Ranyart, the video you want to look at is Darth Dawkins versus Greg Bonson. That's where you'll find it, where he gets his stuff from.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
I think I've seen that one actually. Yeah.
Well, like, look, this isn't very interesting. I mean,
yeah, it's not. I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but
no,
I tried to engage him.
Before, when I was talking to you, you seemed to say things like, you know, you think Darth is a bad apologist, and he's like says dumb stuff. So, like, why don't you just make your claims here? What exactly are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a claim. I would like to know his claims, because all the videos that I've seen of him, he just attacks. And when someone tries to pin him down, which is what Floyd does very well, he just loses it. So I think in that respect, he's a bad apologist. I mean, I'm no fan of William Lane Craig, or I can't remember the other guy's name, but he's an Indian who the evangelicals. Pardon?
Dinesh D'Souza.
Yeah, maybe that's him. But I think he's an Oxford professor or an Oxford graduate. And I mean, but I respect
They might mean Ravi Zacharias.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, Jack. Ravi, yeah, that's his first name, Zachariah. I mean, I think that they're dead wrong, but, you know, they've got a presentation that, you know, they use philosophical positions, and they're good in rhetoric, but, you know, they don't try to tear people down. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I can respect them as a legitimate apologist, Christian apologist. But Darth, I don't know, and it's really entertaining to listen to him, because I've never seen anyone who doesn't. Yeah, I make mistakes, and hey, I'm perfectly happy being corrected. If I don't know something, like, I don't know who engaged me when I first got here, you rattled off 3 words, and I'll be the first to admit, hey, I don't know those words, but I'll look it up. I know a lot of things. I'm not an expert on everything, but I admit when I'm wrong. Darth, I've never heard him admit error ever, even when he's been busted stone cold. He will not admit he's wrong. He will run before he does that.
Oh, fuck.
Like what?
God, there's so many. Properly basic beliefs, for example. I mean, I've heard several times people call him out that he tries to. He demands that they demonstrate properly basic beliefs, and that's something you can't do. I mean, by definition.
Raynar, after watching all these videos of him and finally getting in to come in and talk to him, and now he's just listening to you talk about his videos, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I work during the day, and unfortunately, I'm not able to get on when he is on. But I'm happy that I was able to take today off, and I was able to fix my mute button. And I want to ask him. I didn't want to embarrass him. I really wanted to engage him. You know, I'm not a.
This guy seems pretty sincere.
I'm not a philosopher. I went to. I've got an MBA. My undergrad's economics. I know jack shit about philosophy, but I know when people are wrong.
That's you and Darth both then.
Is Darth wrong?
Darth wrong, yeah.
What is he wrong about specifically?
Well, let Darth speak for himself.
No, you said he's wrong. You made a claim. I'm asking you to justify it.
Man, I know you'd ask me that. Well, see, I made a mistake. That's the whole trick. You don't want to make the claim, and that's what.
Look, dude, if you can't get past me, you can't get past Darth. All right, I'm the appetizer.
Well, I think that. I think that you cannot attack people constantly without taking a position. He does not take a position. He does not allow himself to be critiqued. The minute you try to ask him a question, he will either try to railroad you or run.
I don't think that's the case. That hasn't been my experience. I asked him about general and special revelation the other day, and he answered it.
Yeah, those words mean nothing to me.
Jack, is Darth not engaging with this guy because he's paranoid that we brought in another servitist? And
I think it's different. I think he got wind of the discussion with Matt Yester the other night. That's what I think. I could be wrong about that, but I wonder.
No, Darth just doesn't like to do anything when people want him to. He has to it has to happen by his own desire, right? So if you're saying Darth, I want you to talk to this guy, he's immediately motivated to not do that.
Yeah, but he's
enact some reverse psychology.
He's chomping at the bit to talk to this guy. He's just looking for a convenient.
Well, I also think he's wary that he thinks he's some sort of a ringer or something. I think he thinks this is some kind of ringer.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to talk to this guy in the future, whether or not he does it today. If this guy keeps coming back, he's definitely going to respond to you.
Okay.
Ranyart, I told you I was the appetizer. John's the wet steam towel that you get.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That's not true. I'm actually the final boss.
Ranyart, have you ever watched any of the other stuff apart from Darwin's Greatest Hits?
Let me think. Of course, sorry?
How'd you find it? How'd you find Darwin's Greatest Hits? Or how did you find Darth Dawkins?
I was listening to, I can't remember his name. Is it McRae? Steve McRae?
Steve McRae, yeah.
He was talking to somebody, one of his Tuesday discussions, and he mentioned, of course, Nephilim Free, True Empiricism, and of course Darth Dawkins as people he doesn't like to engage them because they're basically full of shit.
Really?
So,
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Oh fuck.
Is that true?
That's true. It's true.
Okay, then can you please explain to me why I received several text messages recently of Steve McRae groveling to have me on his show?
Well, one, I don't know if that's true, but if it is true,
Okay,
this has been. I don't know how old this video was.
Yeah.
But that's when he referenced you and a couple other people.
Right. And so when he repeatedly sending messages trying to kiss my keister to smooth talk me after he had previously foaming in the mouth diatribes denouncing me left and right any chance he could. How do you square that with the fact that he was practically begging me to come on his show and being very pleasant about it?
Well, as I said, I don't know what the date of that video was. It's at least 2 years old.
So there's an inconsistency between your conclusions and Steve McRae's message.
No, there's not an inconsistency. I'm telling you, that's what I heard on that video. Now, I don't know what the date of that video was. People change. See, Darth, that's another typical gotcha tactic that you think gets you a point. You don't get a point for that.
Oh shit.
Oh fuck.
But it's his game.
Well, that's his thing. That's why I call him a bad apologist.
Ranyart, are you a theist or
You guys remember that one time? That black guy was just screaming at Darth. He was like, "This is
John.
basketball. We got two
Hush,
courts
baby.
right
Only
now."
sleep now. Shh, sleep.
Come on.
Yeah, I remember that guy. That guy, he was talking about, Darth was trying to pin him down on somebody being a scholar. And then this guy who had an African mask as his
Psycho.
Yeah,
Psycho.
that's it. Yeah, exactly. And he said, I don't know what scholar. And then he started saying, well, are you a scholar? Are you a scholar? And Didi just went off. That's called changing the subject. And so I don't know why Dawkins would not answer the question. I mean, are you college educated, Darth? That's another question that I had.
Would you like to know my shoe size and waist size as well?
No, I just want to know. I'm not going to ask you for the school where you attended. I'm just curious if you went to college, just a basic bachelor's degree.
Hold on.
No,
let me check my hat size.
What are you talking about? Yes.
Ranyart, what position do you take on theism, atheism?
Well, I'm a Jewish atheist, I guess is the best way to. I'm or a Jew Gnostic.
Atheist.
A Jewtheist. That's probably better. I just I guess fall within that category.
You're an atheist, huh?
I think so.
Do you believe things based on evidence?
All right, it's not the time, girl. Fucking Jesus Christ, man.
Is that a serious question?
No.
No. I believe I take things on faith.
Send you a link to a video where Darth starts flipping out, accusing me of doxing him and demanding I'm ejected from the hangout because I say his dog's name.
Oh, I saw that one. I saw that one just the other day. I think I know this one. Yeah.
Weird thing is that, and Josh pointed this out, that Darth, he doesn't actually like to lie. He just refuses to answer. When he has something that he doesn't want to say.
Oh, Darth, we had a question. I had a question we had a discussion about.
Better not be cats and
Question first, real quick. Who is this? I was talking about Danny about this. Oh, Danny's here. Wow. Darth, are you there?
Yeah, I'm half paying attention. What?
Yeah, it's an easy question. The question is, like, when you say things like to godless, like you like are heroin addicted and fat and a cow or whatever. Do you when you do say things like that, do you repent afterwards to God?
Yeah, actually, what I do is I have a collection of rabbits in my backyard and a mini temple, and I offer sacrifices.
I feel like he's being facetious.
I do something similar, but it involves dogs.
But it's weird. Darth doesn't actually like to lie, right? Like, he could just lie and say he has a college degree, right?
Right.
But he doesn't like to do that. He
No, Darth, you're saying it's the question?
I think this is proving Jack's point.
Yeah, when he's embarrassed by the answer, rather than lie, he just doesn't respond. Isn't that weird?
Well, the new guy said something interesting about properly basic beliefs. What was his concerns about that? He didn't really hash them out.
Well, he wanted to. He was trying to get Floyd to demonstrate his properly basic beliefs, and that's like trying to prove an axiom in mathematics. Right. It just can't be done. And an educated person, or at least someone who has a 4-year degree in philosophy, would know that.
Do you think it's okay to disagree?
Of course.
So he's not wrong?
Well, I mean, you can just those are two.
That doesn't follow.
Those are two. That does not. That's a non sequitur if I've ever heard one. Are you being facetious, or did you really mean?
I'm just saying I think he's right. You can't justify your properly basic beliefs. What kind of shit is that?
No, you cannot justify your properly basic beliefs.
Yeah, so you can't justify your precepts, but you're criticizing him for not justifying a precept.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I said he wants people to demonstrate properly basic beliefs. And that can't be done. That's like saying you have to prove 1 + 1 = 2.
John,
And prove that 1 + 1 doesn't equal -2.
John, if you ask Darth to justify his final authority, which is properly basic belief, he'll tell you that's completely an illogical thing to do, yet he will ask you to do the same thing.
Oh, fuck. Is that true, Darth? Man, I'm skeptical. I don't know if that's true. I'd have to, Darth would have to confirm that.
Go back to smoking pot.
Just check out videos on YouTube, John. See him do it, John.
Why are you guys so butthurt?
Who's butthurt?
The people complaining.
Who's complaining?
Not you guys, Sam and Tom. They're butt touchers. Don't worry about them.
What's a butt toucher?
Hey, John, I got a question for you.
But you haven't answered my question, man.
John.
It wouldn't be fair for me to answer your question.
Do your dogs ever watch TV?
No, they don't. I don't think so.
No. Do they ever cringe when they see commercials for golf clubs?
Oh, fuck.
John, don't let me away with that. You've got to take revenge, man.
Shit, dude.
Johnny, you gonna let this guy wreck you like that? Why don't you pull this?
And you're letting the side down, John.
Ranyart, have you noticed that Darth doesn't like to answer questions?
I have noticed that.
I wonder what.
But in all fairness, he's answered most of mine, except I still don't. I mean, I actually was going to compliment you, Darth. I mean, if you don't have a college degree, I think you're very well spoken, and you have a very extensive vocabulary. So, I mean,
do you?
Wait, how did this turn?
Wait, hold on a second. Do you find my voice sexy?
I am a heterosexual. Do I find your voice sexy? No.
How did this turn into you sucking Darth's dick?
Me? Sucking Darth's dick? I don't think so. I'm just being totally on the level.
I get the sense that Darth's voice is characteristically sinister, kind of like Vade. It's the same vibe I get from him.
Sam, if that means he sounds like a complete tool, yeah, I'd agree with you.
Well, let me ask you a question. Whose voice is more sinister, mine or Snoke?
I haven't heard Snoke speak, to be honest.
What?
Why don't you look that up on YouTube?
Have you not watched any of the new movies? Sam?
No, I don't think I have.
And look at you now.
In fact, I have something even more in common with Snoke. I'm even more wrinkly than he is.
Jesus.
Did you say Snook? Snooky?
No. Snoke.
If you're more wrinkly than Snoke is, that's pretty damn ridiculous considering that half of his face is missing. The deed split your soul to the bone.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't know who you were talking about initially, but no, I don't think your voice is quite that sinister.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel better.
Darth, why didn't you want to answer my question?
What question?
About you repenting.
I did answer your question. I said I sacrifice rabbits out in the backyard.
Is that true? Or is it a lie?
Is that part of the Christian
worldview? How do you define true, sir?
This guy sounds dumb.
Is truth by its very nature exclusive?
Darth Dawkins, I suspect that that is a lie, and that your worldview says that you're not supposed to do that.
You, sir, are a liar yourself.
Why would that matter?
We gotta get Jim.
No, we
in
don't
here.
have to get him in here.
Yeah, we actually
flash
do.
the bat signal. No.
He was the best.
False.
He's better than Darth.
I have this theory that eventually his vocabulary is just going to burn down to one word. That word's going to be truth. How do you truth, sir? Truth?
He wrecks everyone. I don't know why you're making fun of him.
False.
He comes in here. It's so satisfying whenever you pop into this room at like first thing in the morning, and you're just listening to some arrogant fucks pretend to know things, and all of a sudden you hear fucking Batman come in.
I mean, I couldn't agree with John.
Absolute truth.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with John more. More. I mean, it's so satisfying. Well, there is one more thing that's more satisfying is seeing the swing of a golf club near a dog.
You're not allowed to be that rude, Darth. You're supposed to be a man of God. I would hate to be the reason why you're falling into sin.
Fuck.
Now you're making me feel guilty. Well, luckily for me, I don't believe in the whole eternal hellfire punishment thing, so I don't feel too guilty. Don't worry.
Darth, did you know that John thinks that truth, speaking of truth, he thinks that truth is what facilitates survivability.
Darth, can I ask you another question?
Maybe.
Okay. And I'm not trolling you. I really want to know the answer. The 15 questions that you won't answer, why won't you answer them?
A number of those questions have been answered on Pal Talk, on Google Plus, and on Discord from a number of people who have raised that. When people do so in what I consider a malicious manner, or in the form of being a sock puppet, then I just ignore them.
Okay, fair enough.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Certainly.
Okay. Do you have the capability of actually making knowledge statements?
Do I have the capability of making knowledge statements?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe I do. Depends on the issue.
Okay. Does making viable knowledge statements require that you have a viable theory of knowledge?
It depends on the issue.
Can you make a knowledge claim without a viable theory of knowledge?
It depends on the issue.
So you can make knowledge claims without a theory of knowledge?
It depends on the issue.
You seriously don't understand the question.
No, I understand the question. I understand that I'm a subject matter expert in a couple of areas, but I'm not going to say that I can on just any issue.
Do knowledge claims require the prerequisite of a theory of knowledge? Or can a knowledge claim be viable in the absence of a theory of knowledge?
I think I need to know how you define a theory of knowledge before I answer that question.
Yeah, it's called epistemology. How do we know what we know?
I know what epistemology is.
With respect to one's ultimate worldview.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you make a viable knowledge statement without having a viable theory of knowledge?
Again, it depends on the issue.
Oh, so there are instances where you can make a viable knowledge statement disconnected from any theory of knowledge?
Disconnected from any theory of knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
I can make knowledge statements in
I
certain areas.
didn't ask you that question. I said, can you make a viable knowledge statement that is not specific to a derivative of a theory of knowledge?
I can make a knowledge statement.
Okay, okay. The conversation. Listen, dude, I ignored you earlier. I'm about to ignore you again. When I ask a simple and clear, circumspect question, if you continue to give me evasive answers, it means that you're not really interested in a conversation. I gave you a straightforward answer to several of your questions, and I expect the same in kind. Otherwise, you can go suck an egg.
Well, you can. Well, I mean, you can ask me these questions, but I think we need to come to. We have to. Well, now you're over talking me.
Yeah,
now you're over talking. Well,
I am over talking you. Okay, my patience is running out, dude.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, are you going to run away now? You're going to run away again?
No, I'm not going to be running away.
Okay, well then you can let me answer the question.
And I will stop talking to you now.
Well, that'll break my heart. Okay, if that's your loss, not mine.
I will
ask you. Answer the question.
I will ask you one more time. Okay.
And I'm going to give you the same answer.
Okay,
I'm not going to answer a loaded question.
Thank you for the talk.
Oh, you chicken shit.
But you're not on the troll list.
I want to answer the question. I was interested.
He's actually wants to take you down. I don't know why he was premature.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm low hanging fruit. I'm a white belt.
Yeah, no, he definitely is going to go after you again if you keep showing up. He hasn't given up on you, but for some reason he didn't want to do it just now.
I'm telling you, I think it's because he probably caught wind of that conversation that we had with Yester about him. What it sounds like is he's working on his interaction with atheists.
So not really. The guy,
like from a Christian,
didn't want him to talk.
Maybe he is actually trying to change the way that he interacts with atheists. I could be wrong, but
Darth was talking over him. He was afraid that he was going to be asked questions. You know, Darth doesn't like being asked questions.
Jack,
well, I mean, when you ask me a loaded question, I'm going to ask for clarification. You know, I mean, Darth, that's his MO.
That's why he nutted prematurely. As soon as the guys tried to talk, he just talked over him. The guy was like, "Oh, now you're talking."
Yeah, I just joined this server. Interesting stuff, though, I guess.
Yeah, what's your worldview?
Yeah, I was gonna ask Darth. Really, well, I'll ask you guys, I guess, what Darth's views are.
Just watch a Bonson video. That's his views.
What the values are, what the whole movement is. He said some Christian unity stuff.
Somebody send him a link to Darwin's greatest hits.
First of all, MCO, how long before you get stuck and you just blame it on you being high?
I'm not complaining.
Are we already there, MCO?
Oh, shit.
Send me some resources. Go ahead.
At any point in this discussion, are you going to get stuck and say, well, dude, I'm so fucking high right now, man? Like,
MCO, why would you ask us to misrepresent someone else?
I didn't say that.
Oh, shit.
Why would you ask
do you
us
not
to
smoke
say what
weed?
Darth thinks?
I'm just not sure what his views are. I was looking at videos. What do you suggest me watching to get a good understanding of his views?
Just quite easy to see.
Darth, wreck this fool quickly. Jesus.
Which fool that?
The guy's fucking here. Just ask him what his views are.
Yeah, well, what are your views, Darth? I don't know.
No, what are your views?
Darth, dispense with this peasant, please.
This guy Christian fam.
I'm not Christian, but
Darth,
my family is Christian.
I'm talking about Darth.
If you say you're not Christian but you're spiritual, I'm gonna throw the fuck up.
Dude, no.
Are you an atheist?
What is your
Yeah,
what is your worldview?
yeah, I'm an atheist, fam.
I'm
Oh,
talking to
atheism.
MCO.
He
MCO, are you an
debates-
atheist?
No, I'm not an atheist.
What are you?
I don't know. I don't think you could define my views and
He's
Jesus
one of
Christ,
those.
dude.
This guy
Now,
sounds dumb.
do you not like
Oh,
labels? Is
shit.
that are you like one of those guys where it's
Don't
like,
label me,
don't
bro.
label
Like,
me,
I don't,
bro?
guys, dude, like you guys just don't like understand
Well,
me, man.
I'm not
Like, I mean, I
Christian,
don't
I'm not
fit into.
Jewish.
I'm not going to fit into any of your boxes, bro.
I'm open
I mean,
for
like,
ideas.
I'm like way too deep,
I'm open
man.
for ideas. I'd say I'm open.
Do you play by your own rules there, MCO?
Like some people call me like a
That's-
trendsetter, like
It's morality, right?
Rick.
it's a bigger issue.
Like I'm totally unique, dude. Like I mean, there's like no one out there like me. Like
I'm not saying
I'm so
that.
high right now, bro.
You're claiming I'm not capable of having like an intellectual conversation. I am, and I'm interested, and I'm curious.
Do
on what his
you
views are.
believe in a god or not?
Yes.
What is the god?
I don't know. It's of a higher power.
You don't know what god you believe in?
Just say you're agnostic and save yourself the time.
I guess.
You're
He goes
No.
straight back into stoner mode. Do you notice that?
I was studying like, all different types of stuff regarding religion because my parents
Left-hand
weren't
or
that
right
religious.
all right. Listen. We're just gonna ask you 3 questions. I need to get a baseline on you. You ready? 3. The rules are: you answer right away, and 2, don't repeat the question. Are you ready to answer the 3 questions?
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1: what is 9 times 7?
63.
Question number 2: what is the closest star to the Earth?
The sun.
Question number 3: you drive for 80 miles. Or you drive at 80 miles per hour. You drive for 1 hour. How far did you go?
80 miles.
All right. You're not a complete retard.
I heard you ask that earlier as well, and
Oh, so you knew the answers. Never mind. I
Yeah,
retract.
good job, fuck ass. Jesus Christ.
I don't come in here just talking instantly. I listen for a little bit. I looked up videos because apparently Darth doesn't answer any questions, and he's not here anymore. So I don't really care, but I was interested in what this server was all about. I had been here before. I usually get booed off because, oh, you're a stoner, dude. You don't know anything. What the hell?
MKO is the brightest star.
What?
Well, listen, dude, you had the opportunity to speak to Darth Dawkins. He was there. The room was quiet. You could have asked him the questions directly, but you just didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
Who are you guys picking on?
He's the guy who has the nickname Darth
This
Dawkins.
MKO, dude.
You can pick on me. It's not going to offend me. I'm just
MKO.
MKO, where you from, fam?
We'll take that as a challenge.
MKO.
East Coast, New Jersey, Philadelphia area. Yeah, I was expecting this type of criticism.
What type of criticism?
What is that supposed to mean?
So he thinks he has like a good understanding of the channel, I guess. I mean, it's possible. It's a pretty simplistic channel.
Can't hear you, Justin.
MK, what do you mean by higher power? Like something more powerful than humans, like a big machine?
Well, like what do you guys believe in? I'm aware of I've read about Samaria, Zachariah Sitchins.
This guy's a waste.
Not just that,
God
but like
damn it.
a lot of other things like
On a scale of 1 to Jordan Peterson, how far out there do you think you are with your beliefs?
Wait, what from Jordan Peterson?
1.
Nice meme.
You can appeal to Deepak Chopra if you want.
What's the conversation about?
Nice meme.
What this guy's views are, he refuses to
From
pin
1 to
himself
Jordan
down.
Peterson. I don't know. I like a lot of what Jordan Peterson talks about.
That wasn't
a lot
a
of
number
his
on the scale,
views.
but
Oh wait, maybe talk about that. What do you like the Jordan
Like
Peterson
8.
talks
I'd say maybe 8 out of. I agree about 8 of 10 things that Jordan Peterson says.
What are the
Can you
8
tell
of
us some
10
of them?
things that Jordan Peterson says? Yeah, what are the 8
dumb.
things you agree with,
That's a
and what are
pretty
the 2
broad
things you
question.
disagree with?
You
How
guys
can you
believe
say you
everything
agree with
Jordan
Jordan
Peterson says?
Peterson and not know what you agree with him on? You're dumb, fam.
You just said that you agreed with 8 things, and you disagreed with 2 things.
I don't care.
Can
You can
not
criticize
elaborate?
my views. It's a two-way conversation. I want to know your views.
No,
I
fam.
believe. I said I believe 8 out of 10. So
Fam,
in your
you said
response,
you
what
know
would you
8
say?
things out of 10
I'll
that
answer
you
your
agree with him on.
question.
Oh God, Krill, can you respond?
Yeah, what are the 8 things you believe about Jordan Peterson?
All right. Well, I like his views on the sexuality things. Obviously,
Do you believe his claim about lobsters?
I think it makes a little bit of sense. I have to revisit
In what
exactly
way?
what that was about, but yeah, I'd say I agree on it.
What do you agree with him on sexuality about, fam?
Well, obviously, what he got famous for in the first place. I mean, well, actually, no, it wasn't. It was about free speech. So yeah, I agree with him on free speech as well, and it's about free speech.
Hey, not being mean or anything, but can you like articulate his views without?
Yeah, it's actually hard to do. I'm trying to.
Dumb.
All right, whatever.
Well, I think the reason you maybe having a problem is actually because he never actually explains his views.
Who, Jordan Peterson?
That's correct.
Well, I mean,
let me give you an
seems
example, right?
Okay,
So
go ahead.
he's pointed out the lobster thing to give you an example of what are called natural hierarchies, right? And those aren't really in dispute, right? There's millions of them. They're literally everywhere. You can look at any ecosystem and find natural hierarchies, right? And you could even it's a relatively uncontroversial claim that people have certain things that are biologically motivated, right? So there's a certain sense in which, we are also somewhat of a biologically driven system, right? But the problem with the statement about the lobster thing is that he basically ignored culture and what separates humans from things like lobsters, right? You realize the stupidity of leaving out the entire artifact of culture, right?
Yeah.
All right, good.
And all right, so you guys are critics then of Jordan Peterson and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. There's almost nothing he says that he's either articulated or defended properly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you just misrepresented him, so it doesn't help.
Well,
you know what, John, you can't even represent him. So how?
Well, I know what he was getting at whenever he brought up the lobster thing, and you just you're off in la la land arguing with.
Why don't you tell me what he meant?
He simply wanted to make a point. He simply wanted to make a point that over 350. Shut the fuck up for a second,
I want to
Jesus Christ.
explain something to you, buddy. Myself and
Yeah, I'd imagine. That's why you won't
are
stop
in
talking.
complete agreement about this point.
Yeah, I don't really care about Darthins or whatever.
What does he have to do with this conversation,
Seems
MKO?
pretty cool.
Are you stupid?
Fam, we can back to the conversation, innit? We were talking about Jordan Peterson, fam.
Yes, so
Yeah.
what's the thing about
Let's talk about Jordan Peterson.
Hey, John, why don't you question MKO since you're such an expert on Jordan B. Peterson?
I just want to hear John articulate the view about the lobster.
Yeah,
He doesn't know the view about the lobster. He couldn't.
And I want him to show me how I was misrepresenting, because I think I actually just gave a pretty charitable approach.
Charitable in what sense?
John, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I just want to know whether or not you actually know what Jordan Peterson thinks.
Charitable in the sense that I accurately represented his view.
Well then, John, you have the floor.
Well, he says things like, "Oh, sorry," but I was gonna say he usually brings stuff up about neo-Marxism and postmodernism, and I think.
Can you define those two terms?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the
I think I get the ideas, but I'm not sure who exactly it is that he's referring to as these postmodern or these
Okay, yeah. Can you
Marxist
define those two
elite
terms?
people.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's start off with the word postmodernism. Can you at least define that?
Right. So it's people like basically they're changing textbooks in a sense.
Mhm.
Well,
You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to do this. I'm going to tell you now.
Yeah.
What?
I'll give you a minute to define postmodernism, and let's see.
Can you just mute Pedicandum? He's just like worthless.
What do you mean?
You're not going to be able to.
I'm not even. I don't even want to talk.
Just stop talking, Pedicandum. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll listen. You guys can whatever. See ya.
I think
got
Tom's
better
probably
stuff
right.
to do than talk about this shit.
Save yourself. Just save yourself. Just stop talking.
Bam.
I mean, Tom, we could
floor,
use
Tom.
it just to dismantle Jordan Peterson, though.
Well, he
'Cause,
says he's disengaging, so let's see what the point is now.
Well, one of the funny things about the term postmodern neo-Marxism is that neo-Marxist and postmodernists actually have substantial points of disagreement too. So putting the two terms together is actually contradictory.
Well, no, Jordan Peterson just doesn't like either of those types.
No, but he uses the term postmodernist neo-Marxism.
Yeah. Wait, but is neo-Marxism, is that necessarily like modernist? I wouldn't say so. Is it?
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Of one of the things that he does. He talks about something that's postmodern would be like appeals to non-traditional family units or something like that, right? Right. But or appeals to things like feminism, for example, right?
Yeah.
Neo-Marxists are often feminists, for example, but postmodernists actually reject the form of feminism supported by neo-Marxists, right? So a neo-Marxist would support a feminism that's composed of, whatever property they take to constitute females, but postmodernists actually reject modernist notions or strict categorical things like that.
Yeah, like the rejection
There's
of labels.
There's all kinds of little conflicts between those two camps of people, and you can find them everywhere.
Yeah.
So that putting them together doesn't really make any sense. But the lobster
What do you
thing,
think he means when he says cultural Marxism?
well, I don't think it means anything. What do you think it means?
So you're making fun of somebody right now and you don't really know what they mean?
I just told you I don't think it means anything.
Well, people use buzzwords all the time. I mean,
do you know what? Hey, John, do you know what cultural Bolshevism is?
Listen, I want you to do me a favor one of these days, right? I'm going to play a Jordan Peterson video and you can pause it anytime you want and correct him, like play by play, right? Correcting him.
Actually, John, I can do you one better. I can explain Jordan Peterson's views to you and show you how they're wrong.
No. I actually, because we all acknowledge Jordan Peterson. We all acknowledge Jordan Peterson is the most misrepresented person. Nobody actually knows what he thinks, but they criticize him all the time. So the only way I'm willing to do it is, like I said, we can actually listen to what he is saying and then critique him in real time.
Well, let me point this out without you over-talking me. Listening to a clip isn't going to stop someone from misrepresenting somebody, right? So ultimately, it's going to be up to you anyway to say, hey, that's a correct representation. So how about you and I sit down right now, and I'll give you an account of his view, and you can let me know with your astute knowledge of Jordan Peterson if I'm representing him correctly. We can even start with the lobster example.
No, I'm fine. Just let me know whenever you want to do what I said.
Like I said, John will one day learn that he will get smashed anytime he confronts me in a serious discussion. But I like that back down he just did.
Hey, Justin, what would you do if he actually took you up on that?
I just offered to do it right now.
Okay, let's do it right now. Do it with me.
I just asked him to do it right now. You don't know anything about Jordan Peterson, Crafty.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. What's your critique on his Maps of Meaning course?
I'm not talking about his Maps of Meaning course.
Well, you just said vaguely Jordan B. Peterson. I mean, I was assuming all of his content was on the table.
I also followed it up by saying we can start with the lobster thing.
Yeah, we can. You left it open to interpretation.
Okay.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah. Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Justin, what do you think about Jordan Peterson's thoughts about rule-based systems as opposed to growing AI? He uses the example of AI, saying that we grow it because we can't build rule-based systems.
It doesn't even make sense. But Crafty, do you know what Maps of Meaning is about?
It's like it's a course on metaphysics and psychology, how he loosely blends things together and strings things together oddly.
That's just wrong. That's wrong.
The archetype of belief.
And I have the book. He
Yeah,
talks
I
about
assumed-
how, like, the
I assumed when
metaphysics
you
of
asked that question a
Pinocchio
moment
and
ago. Yeah, he doesn't talk about that actually.
Did you enjoy that book, Justin?
I read the first 3 chapters.
I heard it's actually a pretty difficult book to understand.
But look, how about we just back up a minute here? So Crafty wanted to interject by pointing out.
yeah, so he has probably around 10 2-hour courses on YouTube. Also, his book.
So Crafty, look, you wanted to.
How would you know the contents of it?
I'm going to explain it to you, right? The first 3 chapters, typically in any book, but you're not going to overtalk me, right?
No, I won't.
All right, I'm about to give you a good lesson in what it's like to speak to me. Okay, so in the first 2 chapters of most books, Crafty, they overview what's called the thesis. Do you know what a thesis is?
Yes.
Okay, so in the first chapter, he goes over what he takes Maps of Meaning to be trying to prove, and what it tries to prove is how we account for notions like truth, meaning, our nature, things like that psychologically, right? So he wants to say that there's components and ways of portions of the brain actually interact that give rise to these notions that we have, right? And then we can explain these notions strictly psychologically, right? That's what the book is about. Now, the details of that,
give an explanation.
the actual empirical studies that are in the rest of the book, and his research, I haven't read, right? But I don't need to do that, by the way, because it was a total red herring when you brought it up. So when we discussed Jordan Peterson's views, I told you you're not going to overtalk, right? You just pointed out one thing that I might not be familiar with, right? As if that were some kind of argument against the knowledge that I have about the rest of his views. It was just a complete non sequitur.
Sure.
Right. I'm glad you agree. So if you want to discuss Jordan Peterson's views that I'm familiar with, because I take it that that's the only way we can have a real conversation anyway, right?
I thought
we
all
can
of his
start doing
views were
that.
on the table, Justin. I'm sorry.
Look, like I just pointing out one thing that a person doesn't know, and then using that as some kind of reason for anything else is just going to be a non sequitur.
So isn't that what you do to John John?
Look, no, that's not what I do, right? That's not what I do at all. In fact, John John accused me of misrepresenting the lobster position, right? Then I invited him to have a discussion about it. So once again, you're just a fucking idiot.
Yo, chill, man. Chill.
I don't need chill when people confront me like I'm the fucking dumbass here, right? You two are.
I agree. Well, he was saying, so the human brain is something that we do not understand. I agree. We do not understand.
I'm just gonna make it clear for Crafty, right? Crafty, from now on,
that's what,
right, when you want to have a discussion, just remember.
Okay, you bowed out. You said you were just gonna listen. Now you seem to be engaging again. What's up, bud?
I don't know. I'm bored.
Okay, well then just be quiet, please, and mute yourself and like fap your dick or something like that. We don't need your interjections.
All right.
What'd you say, Justin? I couldn't hear you over that.
So Crafty, I'm just wondering now, since you pretty much agreed, pointing out one thing a person doesn't know doesn't obviate the conversation with them, how you want to go forward. Do you want to discuss Jordan Peterson's views that we can both discuss?
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You know, John won't take me up on that offer either. I gave him a perfectly good offer to discuss what he accused me of misrepresenting. And he said, you know what, I'm good.
Well, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with your views on Jordan Peterson.
Look, that's not, I don't care if you disagree with him. That's not the point that I just made.
Well, what do you know about him?
Well, are you just asking me random questions now? Is this a Q&A?
Well, you said that we could discuss what you knew about him, your knowledge of what he believed in. So I don't know exactly what you think he believes in.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you the things that I'm willing to discuss. I'm willing to discuss his views on natural hierarchies and what he thinks the entailments are. I'm willing to discuss his views on metaphysical truth and what he takes that to be representative of. I'm willing to discuss his views on theism, including his claim that using mushrooms, like psychedelic mushrooms, are evidence for a god.
Okay.
Man, if only we could get you to talk to him in real life somehow.
Wait, go on. What other views?
You elaborate on
The
what
only
you feel about
the
these
only
views or
thing
your
the only thing that bothers me about this conversation is that both of you are incapable of having it.
I'm just asking you what your views are on it. I'm curious as to what you know about
Crafty, listen to me. The Q&A is over because I've provided so much material right now compared to what you two have put forward.
Yeah, pick one of the three and start off on what you know about it.
Look, listen to me. Let's listen before replying, right? I've been talking and I've been putting forward things that I know because I put the time in to speak about them, right? Now, John can't do that, which is why he's going to make wise tracks from the sideline about his hero. Because he doesn't understand a fucking thing about him, right? But here's the other thing, Crafty. You don't either. You just want to question me.
I never made the claim to know anything. You made the claim to know something.
Look,
so I'm asking you to elaborate.
Listen to me. I'm looking for an interlocutor that knows about the subject. I'm not doing Q&A with you about what I fucking know about.
I never said I did or did not know about the subject.
I didn't finish the
I just want to know your viewpoints and see if I
Look,
would actually happen.
Listen to me. I didn't finish the sentence. I'm looking for someone else that knows about these subjects. I'm not looking to do QA with you about what I fucking know about.
Really?
That's correct.
All right, so you're conceding.
Yeah, I'm conceding that you don't know shit about the subject.
Yeah,
It's
if
a
he's
waste of
back,
time.
I'll ask him. But I was just gonna come in here and ask generally about the server. But he was here, and apparently you guys seem to agree with what he says. So I was gonna ask him about his views, and then see what the server thinks about that.
Who are you talking to?
I was responding to Paul.
Well, unfortunately, Darth for some reason has got himself deafened, and so you're not going to get through them unless you can get through them with text. But the guy's here. If you want to talk to him, just ask him.
I'll just send him a message, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna just get off, so I don't want to bother you guys.
All right, you're too high. Thanks a lot, bud. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Can we play a video and you critique him in real time?
Yeah, Justin, Master Mindfulness, aka John, he posted a video on postmodernism so we could hear JBP's views from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, I'd actually like to play that with the bot, and then Justin can pause the bot anytime he wants to correct Jordan Peterson, so we don't have to worry about the misinterpretations. And all.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, John. How are you gonna know if I'm misrepresenting him or not?
Well, I would at least know, because he is the most misrepresented person, right? And every time I hear people criticize,
Here's
like
John.
whenever you
We're
brought
gonna
up the lobster thing,
You need to taste
you
this
know
rule,
what
right?
Jordan Peterson was
You need
trying to
taste
get
it.
at really had
John,
nothing to do with all that shit you were trying to say. He was trying to sleep. I mean, it just wasn't true.
John, here's what your answer is going to be like. It's going to start with, I'm going to know you're misrepresenting Jordan Peterson because...
So look, what I'm saying, John, is that your thought experiment, like all things you do, is just retarded, right? Because playing the clip is not going to do anything to make sure that he's not being misrepresented. One of you will have to be knowledgeable about his views, which we all know none of you fucking are.
Yeah, I get it. If you're not willing to do that, that's fine.
Tom, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's still going to be subject to him being able to understand it in real time.
Bingo. See, John, every time you don't understand the topic or what I'm saying, I'm just going to ask Tom if he understands, right? Because at least there's one cognizant being with an IQ above 75 that understands what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're a pussy for not accepting my challenge.
Whoa, dude, come on.
Okay, I think you're Puerto Rican. What's the problem?
Yeah, that's just projection. You're being racist. You don't even like people who are racist, and you're being racist right now, man. Don't let me get to you that much. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is racist.
We could just play a video, and then you can critique him in real time. But obviously, you're avoiding doing that at all costs.
The video won't help.
There you go.
Yeah, actually, the video, everyone could see what Jordan and hear what Jordan is saying in real time. So come on. Justin's already acknowledging that nobody in here knows what Jordan thinks.
Not understand it.
John, you're an idiot, right? That's the main problem.
I'm not saying that I'm going to argue and debate Justin over Jordan Peterson, right? I mean, come on, guys. You guys can do a little bit better than this.
Do you not understand why video won't help? The problem is you need somebody to understand Jordan Peterson's position and can follow what Justin is saying to point out what's inconsistent.
Yeah, I get it, guys. Just let Justin pretend to know better than Jordan. That's fine.
That's not even what Justin's saying.
I offered to have the conversation with you, including stating his position, letting you tell me if I'm misrepresenting and how, and have the whole conversation with you. The only difference in what I proposed, John, what you're proposing is you need a fucking video to fall back on.
Hey, Justin, I took you up on that offer, and you wouldn't let me take you up on it. You said no.
Crafty, you also conceded you didn't know anything about Jordan Peterson.
I never said that. I never made that claim. You made that claim.
You did make that claim.
You made the claim to know something. I didn't make the claim to know anything.
I told you the 3 topics I know about. I told you what we could talk about.
Yeah, and I asked you to elaborate on them. I asked you to elaborate on them and what you knew about them.
Don't look, if you're gonna overtalk, right? We can't have the conversation. So listen carefully. I know that you want to engage me, right? It's clear that you want to get up my ass. I feel your pain, right? But what I'm saying is, I'm not gonna talk with you just because you're fucking eager. You're gonna have to know something about the 3 subjects that I fucking outlined.
Yeah, why don't you outline them so I can pick them apart?
Look, I'm not going to teach you about the 3 subjects, Crafty. I want to talk to someone that knows them. I want to talk about somebody that knows them already, and you don't know them.
How can you make that claim without discussing it?
Okay, look, let's start here. I've made a positive claim that you don't know enough about those 3 subjects. Let's test it empirically. Tell me Jordan Peterson's view about what metaphysical truth is.
I'm not going to do your job for you, John. We can't just shift the burden of proof.
You're not. No. It's not shifting the burden, right? Because I didn't have a burden to. No, listen to me. Listen carefully.
Claim to know his views.
Listen carefully.
Shift the burden of proof on me.
Crafty, listen carefully, okay? Listen carefully. I've told you the 3 subjects that I'm willing to speak on, right? Okay.
Yeah, and I said pick one and elaborate on it.
Right, but Crafty, listen. I just want you to listen before you respond, okay? I don't think you know anything about these subjects. You don't have to articulate the whole view to me. Just tell me what you know about them. That's not shifting the burden.
Which subject would you like to pick?
By the way, I'm going to be arguing against these views. So you telling me what you isn't going to help me argue against them, right?
What?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, can you hear me? What?
Yeah, pay attention. I'm going to be arguing against these 3 views. So you just sharing with me what you know about them isn't going to help me form my argument. I already have my argument, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so why wouldn't you state your argument?
So listen carefully, Crafty. Look, lock in, put down whatever you're smoking, drink some water, get lucid, right? Because you're not following what I'm saying. I have my arguments against these 3 subjects. Do you remember the 3 subjects?
Yeah. No, but you said you have 3 arguments. Would you care to elaborate on any of the 3?
I just asked you to lock into the conversation. Do you even remember the 3 things that I mentioned?
No. Would you care to reiterate them?
So, Crafty, listen to me. You're going to have to do something to show me that you're a viable interlocutor. That includes, number 1, paying attention. Number 2, demonstrating some knowledge about the subject. And 3, not just trying to ask me an endless series of fucking questions on a subject you're ignorant about so that I waste my fucking time. Those are the guarantees.
You said you have 3 arguments, Justin. Why won't you state any of the arguments?
Listen to me. This is what big boys in the do, okay? Our time is valuable.
Okay, I'm done with you. I don't care to slide.
All right, thank you, sweetheart. I'm back when you know about these things.
It would have been much more interesting if he would have Justin, you just listened to the video and critique him in real time.
Yeah, by the way,
you're just saying that no one here is worthy of talking to you about this subject, but you're willing to spend 20 minutes reminding of it, just like a broken record nonstop. Saying, none of you can talk to me about this. You have to prove to me that you're worthy.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it again, actually. I know you're speaking, but I'm going to have to talk over
I mean, it's just fucking insane,
dude. If anybody here does understand these 3 subjects, and you actually feel like showing me that you understand them and you want to have a conversation, we will have that conversation. The offer is open to
Oh shit, you repeated yourself again.
But these 2 fucking idiots who clearly don't understand the subject, they're not going to get my time.
Why don't you say it one more time before you go?
Well, I could say it for him. So John, he needs a viable interlocutor, like a person to have a conversation with. You need to have a baseline of knowledge to come to an understanding. Because you can't, when you have a discussion over something, you can't just be teaching this guy everything about something. So he needs somebody who understands the topic at hand. You get it? Good.
So the claim that they're making against me is that it's unfair, right, or somehow uncharitable for me to ask for that, which is just obviously ridiculous.
No, that's not the claim I'm making.
Yeah. So look, John,
I simply said, hey, do me a favor. And I said, I'd like for you to do this. And you did everything in your power to not do that. And you just complained that we're too stupid to talk to you.
No, that's just a mischaracterization of what happened, John, because you're a dishonest piece of shit.
Not being knowledgeable about a topic doesn't mean you're stupid. Just want to let you know that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry this bothers you guys, but it's just the thing you've got to do to manage your own time. Like, I'm at work now. If I'm gonna have a conversation, it's gonna be with somebody that understands the shit before I go back in.
Yeah, it's understandable, man.